हेलो एवरीवन, दिस इज देवव्रती फ्रॉम लैंडमार्क इमिग्रेशन। सो आज हमारे साथ है मिस रीमा फ्रॉम वेस्टक्लिफ यूनिवर्सिटी। वेलकम मैम, हाउ आर यू?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
या सो बेसिकली आज जो हमारा टॉपिक रहने वाला है, वी ऑल नो कि जो एक सपना होता है यूएसए जाने का, बच्चों का भी एंड उनके माँ बाप का भी। बट मोस्टली हम ये चीज देखते हैं कि बहुत सारे जो है डिफिकल्टीज फेस होता है। कई स्टूडेंट को समझ नहीं आता कि कौन सा प्रोग्राम सिलेक्ट करे, स्कूल प्रोसेस कहाँ पे मिले। तो वेस्टक्लिफ यूनिवर्सिटी दैट इज इन इरवाइन कैलिफोर्निया, एंड बहुत ही अच्छी डेस्टिनेशन है। साइड by side जो इनके programs है, that is also very good. So ma'am will guide us. Also we will give it to you the proper information about the tuition fees, the requirement, everything. So ma'am, मेरा जो पहला question है, that would be like, what do you think about the location firstly for Westcliff University?
Thank you for that question, Deborati. So, quick introduction. थोड़ा सा अपने बारे में बताना चाहती हूँ. I'm originally from India. मैं मुंबई से हूँ, and I moved here about 2 years ago to do my MBA at Westcliff University. The way I actually stumbled upon the university was when I was in California and I was looking at the right kind of university that would fit the location and my requirements for the MBA that I was looking for. So it just made sense. Irvine is very, very centrally located, so that's our main F1 campus. We also have multiple campuses. So Irvine actually is awarded like one of the safest cities in America. So I think that was another a very big selling point for me and my parents, to be very honest, because you know how Indian parents, they do want to know definitely,
Right.
whether the student is going in a safe area, how the environment is around. So Irvine is one of the safest cities. It is also, our campus is close to like Facebook, Meta, all of these offices. So it really helps in finding like, the right kind of tech opportunities if you're looking for any kind of tech internships. Apart from our main campus, Deborati, we also have our satellite campuses, which are Los Angeles, San Francisco, launched 2 weeks ago. We have one in Miami, Orlando. And then you can
Wow.
see on the right hand side, are you able to see my screen? You can
Yes,
see it
it
now.
is
Okay.
visible. Yeah.
Perfect. So if you see, we have our new campuses, which is Dallas, Toronto, and New Jersey, that are coming up soon. So it's a growing university, for sure.
Yeah. So I think the Los Angeles campus is a new campus, right?
So Los Angeles is new, San Francisco is new, Miami and
Yeah.
Orlando has been there for a while.
Yes, yes. Okay.
hmm
So, ma'am, what will be like the basic requirement for UG student?
hmm So for undergraduate, the requirement is 2.0 GPA. For graduate, it's 2.5 GPA. English proficiency, if you have IELTS and TOEFLs, you can definitely consider that. If you don't have IELTS, I can go to the slide which basically talks about the requirements. So if you don't have IELTS or TOEFL, you can also, apply with like multiple English exams that are accepted.
Okay.
um, Let me share the other screen. So you can choose between which English proficiency. We don't
Right.
require GRE, GMAT, or SAT scores, so that really helps as well. There is an undergraduate pathway program for any kind of English proficiency that you might need, so that is also an available option.
Right. And what will be like if a student doesn't want to go for any IELTS or BT exam? So, MOIs is acceptable or not?
Great question. Yes, MOIs are accepted. So if you don't have an English proficiency, feel free to apply with an MOI.
Right. So I have a question basically, as you are coming from, from the university itself, you can observe most of the student, they are, having a lot of, fluency, fluency problem, or they cannot communicate properly in English because of they're used to in a native language. So what you will suggest that they should go for a MOI based application, or they should go for IELTS or PT for the same?
So they can definitely, apply with the MOI. They can also, there is a list of English exams, Deborati, that I can share with you, and you can share this list with the teams. So basically, you'll see that there are multiple exams that we do accept. There's PTE, there's TOEFL, there's so many exams that we accept. There's Duolingo. So if they can't do, IELTS and TOEFL, because I know it's much harder, they can definitely choose any of these
Right,
English proficiency exams. What I do recommend is that, and I'm saying this out of my personal experience, is that when your English proficiency is slightly lower in speaking, I think you must focus on that and train yourself in speaking well. Because what happens is, when you go for your visa interview, if you are not able to
mhm,
communicate in English, it becomes a little harder to get the visa. So I would really invest time in, learning the speaking skill set, and
right.
building on that, so that you are more prepared, once you come here.
Right. And what about the programs that are available in this particular university for bachelor as well as masters?
hmm Okay, so for bachelor's, we have three colleges. So the College of Business, Technology, Engineering, and Education. Everything that you see in yellow is the main degree, and everything in white are the
Okay.
concentration. Okay, STEM courses are extremely popular in our university. So everything that you see in green and denoted with S are the STEM courses for bachelor's. Okay, for master's program, we have four colleges. So College of Business, Technology, Engineering, Education, and College of Law. Again, under this, everything that you see in white are the concentration. Everything in green are
Okay.
the STEM courses. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, we have two new courses that we have launched under the Masters of Business Administration. One is the concentration in artificial intelligence, and the other one.
Okay.
So it's called Applied AI in Business, if you see it here, which is a STEM concentration. And then you have Hospitality and Tourism Management, which is a non-STEM, but it is a new degree, a new concentration that's been added in
Okay.
the MBA program.
Yeah.
We also
I guess this hospitality and tourism management hasn't in demand because recently we also have done some fairs and also some seminars. So students are wondering, for when it comes to the BTech student, or they're coming from different specialization in BBA, so they're looking for this tourism and hospitality program. Yeah, I remember that.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, that's so we basically launched these programs recently, and they both have been doing really well for us, especially, of course, both fields are very much in demand. So I would say those are good concentrations to pick.
Yes. So for masters also like 55 to 60% will be enough, or is there any other criteria?
So how it's calculated, Deborati, is by GPA, right? So
Okay.
we have Scholarly that we use to basically convert the GPA. So when you go on Google, just type in, GPA conversion by Scholarly, and it will give you like a math on what the GPA conversion is. If you have a 2.0 GPA for undergraduate, it is acceptable. If you have a 2.5 for graduates, that is acceptable.
Okay. And for masters, what will be the tuition fees?
Let me go to the tuition fees page for you. Okay. So basically, the tuition fees for bachelor's program, right? So everything is divided by credits. For a full-time load, which is roughly, you would say, calculate as a yearly price, would be 18,408. For a master's program, it would be 14,742, and then for the doctorate, it will be 16,326. The good
Okay.
thing is that you are able to pay the fees on a monthly payment plan, or even, like, semester wise. If, obviously, you don't want to pay all the money at once, you're able to divide that and make that payment as your semester passes.
Right. And what will be the deposit fees? Because, we also have done some applications and we got visa approved from that particular student. So they have paid, I think, $1,000, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong, initially. Yes. I think that is quite very supportive towards a student, because at that initial stage, they do not, need not have so much money or spend
correct.
so much before flying. Yeah.
Correct.
So
So,
can you explain that what will be the fee structure?
yeah, of course. So basically, let's start with the enrollment. So actually, let's backtrack and start with application. Number one, applications for India are at $50. So,
Okay,
that is the application fees, number one. Number two comes in is the enrollment deposit. So the enrollment deposit is at $1,000, which basically means that once you have got your, you've made the application and you're ready for your enrollments, you start the process by $1,000 deposit, which is refundable also. So for example, if you do decide to not, for example, enroll into Westcliff University after you get your visa, that amount will be refunded back to you. Of course, it's not advisable, but it is something that we want to keep everything very fair. So that thousand is also given back to you if the student decides to not continue. Once that is done, you go into payment for your first semester. So it depends on how many credits you choose. So whether you're doing bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, and I can put a detailed link about all the fee structure in the description as well. But basically, it
right,
gets divided into like your tuition fees, which will reflect based on the number of credits you choose.
right. And
Hmm.
ma'am, I have a question. Like, what do you suggest to the students who are looking for Westcliff University and they're about to appear in an interview? So, which are the questions or which are the scenarios they should learn more, before the interview?
Great question. So I think the number one thing I would do, what the visa officer asks is why choose Westcliff University? Okay,
Right,
so I think it's very, very important to know why you're choosing the university, number one, and why you're choosing the course that you're choosing. Okay, what really helps with visa officers is also a certain level of like personal, connection. So for example,
right,
if you're choosing an MBA program and if you've chosen a concentration, let's say for example in AI, and if you, for example, spoken to certain alumni or reached out to a professor on LinkedIn and had that communication or anything like that, which shows your real interest in the program or in the university, it really helps. So it's always good to go that extra mile and make sure that you have those answers rehearsed or spoken about. I think the other questions that the visa officer would ask you would be like, okay, why do you want to go, what is your
right.
future, how do you see yourself, are you going to come back to India, because they want to make sure that the intention of the student is only to study. They don't want
Yes.
you to work, they don't want you to obviously, they want you to work, but they don't want you to settle in the US, right? Immigration is what they're
Mm.
avoiding. So it's important to know those aspects. The other thing I would say is we have a service where we do mock visa interviews. So if you have a visa interview coming up, you reach out to the admission advisor and they will basically do a mock visa interview for you, and they will ask you questions, they look at your profile, and that is a really good training process that I highly, highly
Yeah.
recommend students to go through.
Great, great. I think I can relate to the student, because before they're going, I am also taking their mock interviews. So it is like a very important question to them. And also being real and just, behave like a student. That is also very important. Don't be so overshadowed or, mug up style pe baat
Yeah,
karna. I think that is something not acceptable at the time of, doing your interview.
very
So,
true.
ma'am, I am, left with two more questions to you. So, basically, my first question will be the scholarship. So, what about the
Mhm.
scholarship for UG and PG students?
Okay, great question. So we award scholarships up to $10,000. And this is going to be an additional application. Okay, so it's apart from the
Okay.
application that you are making for admissions. The scholarships would be a separate application. So first step would be to make sure that you have the minimum GPA requirement, which is the range between 2.5 to 3.75. So it's a broad range. Step two would be to make sure that you're drafting an essay for up to 500 words on the prompt. Step three would be to attach all your resume letters, any kind of awards that you won, all of those things with your recommendation letters. And then step four would be to complete the application. Okay. Now, up to $10,000 of scholarships are awarded. There are many scholarships that are listed on the website. So I would recommend clicking on sorry, I would recommend clicking on this, and I will share these details with you, Deborati. So you go on the scholarships page. When you scroll down, you will see that there are so many scholarships that are available. So if you're, for example, in cybersecurity, or if you're looking at, business in doctoral, if you're looking at graduate, there are multiple scholarships that are available for you. So feel free to navigate this page, and choose what resonates with you the most, and accordingly apply for that particular scholarship. Now, the other thing is scholarships are awarded 3 times. So basically, it's not that you can only apply for scholarship in the first time when you get enrolled or anything like that. Throughout the time that you are at Westcliff, you can keep applying. If you don't get a scholarship, you can apply again. You can apply. So you can keep doing that process unless obviously you win a scholarship. So because it's
Yes.
awarded 3 times, so and every scholarship is awarded 3 times. So if you do the math, there's like so many scholarships that actually are being awarded. So I would highly, highly recommend utilizing it. I, in fact, also won my scholarship in the first year. So I would really
Yeah.
recommend going through the process of applying for it.
Yeah. And what more question I can ask you? So there's a lot of question basically. So I think the financial criteria is something that everybody, confused about. So I just want to ask you that for financials, what are the documents are valid to show your financials? Like it can be bank letter or certificate or statement only. So what will be that, and how much financials we should show for the I-20?
Okay, great question. So, how they calculate the financials to show in the bank account? Okay, so let me just break it down a little bit. So, for example, you're doing a master's course. The fees for the master's course is 14,742 for 1 year, roughly. Okay, this is 36 credits. You have to take 18 credits for sure. So, I'm just going to keep it simple right now. Your roughly annual fees comes to about $15,000. You will add $20,000, which is housing and living expense. So
Okay.
what USCIS wants to make sure is that when a student comes to the US, they have 1 year of funds in their bank account. Okay, so if you're doing a bachelor's course, it will be 18,408 plus 20,000. Okay, if you're doing a doctorate, it'll be 16,326 plus 20,000. Okay, now if you decide to bring a child dependent, for example, you want to bring in your child with you, it is an additional something around 3,500. And if you decide to bring your spouse with you, it's additional, I think, 6,500 roughly. Okay. So, of course, those things get added as you come on. So, that will be basically on the bank statement and the financials. Now, in terms of what is accepted, yes, bank statements are accepted. It is extremely important to make sure that the bank statement is 90 days prior to the in the I-20. So you cannot exceed that time frame. Make sure that it is within the 90 days while you're submitting your I-20. There is a separate I-20 request form that you must fill out once
Right.
you have received your acceptance letter. That would be the next step, where you will attach all your bank statements and submit on the portal. And obviously, if you're going through Landmark, the process is much easier. They will do that for you. So you can directly reach out to them, and they'll help you with the application process.
Yeah. So I think I have covered all the questions. So I think it is really lovely meeting with you and having a detailed information about Westcliff University. So tell me one thing, ma'am, that which are the intakes are coming for the international student?
Great question. Okay, so we have a session every 2 months. So currently we are so let's say our next deadline is going to be, what date are we on? February 20th, right? So I would
Yeah.
say our next is April 7th. So basically, you're looking at session six, summer six going to be the next session, which is going to
Okay.
be April 7th is going to be the deadline. If you miss that, you can do the June deadline. If next, you can do August. So it's every 2 months there is an intake.
Yeah.
So if you miss one, you can definitely go into the next one
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, I think that is the best thing about Westcliff University because I myself have done a lot of applications previous year also and this year also. So the problem basically USA में जो होता है कि because of delays in appointments, so बच्चों को defer करना पड़ता है and for that we need rolling intakes.
Correct.
Just to कि बहुत लंबा gap ना हो. So I think Westcliff University has given us that opportunity that we can just thoroughly we can go for a next intake immediately. So I think it is the best way to get enrolled in Westcliff. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Of course.
It was a very informative session and मैं students and उनके parents के लिए बताना चाहती हूँ कि next intake के लिए आप enroll कर सकते हैं. For further information about the program, about tuition fees, everything, you can just come up to our offices. Otherwise, you can just we can just set up a Zoom session with you for the counseling purpose. Otherwise, for the promotional activities you may have seen in our social media pages, so from that as well you can just see to which are the universities we are dealing with and kya programs available hoga. So that's all. Thank you so much for joining, ma'am.
Of course.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Just give me 1 second, Deborati. I'm trying to see if I can generate. Um, okay, cool. Okay, no worries. That's it. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, not yet, because we have covered all the questions from requirements to, scholarships, financials, everything. So thank you so much, ma'am, and we will arrange more session with you for sure. And
Mhm.
also for student who are watching right now, if you have any query after the session, also do contact with us. Thank you.
I have a good news to share with you, Deborati.
Yeah.
So, we can actually give you an application fee waiver. So, all the students that
Okay. Great.
attended this webinar can basically, I have put it in the chat. Are you able to see it? It's
Yes.
in the private chat, so you will be able to share it with the team. They can use LAN 2991 as the waiver code when they make the application. And since you attended this webinar, the $50 will be waived off. Okay. Feel free to
Okay.
reach out to me if you need further information.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it's
My pleasure.
what you have said. I think it's a great news to the student as well. So, if you enroll with us, with Landmark, with Westcliff University, for sure you will get the waiver, the application fee waiver for sure. So, we will definitely, do the best for you. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Devarati. Let me know if there's anything else, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.